Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube video, and today's class we'll explore the 5 major Figma plugin, and the very first one is called Blob. So blob literally means just coming up with a random vector shape, and just in case you want to install the plugin, you can click on the action key, type in the word blob and go over to the plugin and widget assets or the path, then click on the blob. When you do, make sure you save the blob plugin or any plugin so that you can easily find it whenever you come there. Then I'm going to run the plugin now, and you wait a while depending on your network speed, and the moment it comes up, you're going to see more like this little panel where you can make all of the adjustments to the complexity and the uniqueness and play around all of those things, and you click on insert. Now, it makes more sense when you begin to use this whole thing to even create more light. I think I've actually explained about lights more in one of my recent videos on my YouTube page. Now, let's take for an instance that we are creating a light and we have a frame which is color black, and now we can run a plugin now like blur, of course. But before then, I added the corner radius of 32 and I also do more like a gradient on the particular frame. Now we are going to run our plugin, and we go over to the action, we click on blob, and now we have blob. You can just click on insert. Here, apply the color blue, which I'm going to give a layer blur, then I'll increase the value depending on the value that works for you. Then also, I'm going to do more like a duplicate, and I'm going to change the blending options for us to get the light. So I'll click on that again to repeat the process, and I'm going to take it outside, bring it inside, just in case you're having difficulties trying to put it inside the frame. I'll change the blending options to lights, and I'm going to go to the effects. I will click on the layer blur to increase the value, and the beauty is not seen yet until I apply the blending option, and in my case I'm going to use plus lighter, and you get to do all of those things even more. Apply the colors of your choice and change the blending option. Also apply the effects, which is the last thing you're going to do. So the more you get to do all of those things, the more you see the light pops, and I think that really works. Just in case you are designing anything for UI, I think you will need blob. Okay, going to the next one, which is called isometric, and for you to do that, you go over to your action and you type in the word isometric or isometric. So the moment you load the plugin, it's depending on your network speed, it should run, but the first thing you need is to even have a frame. And the idea of isometric is to use this same plugin to draw like isometric design. So you don't really have to draw plenty of the lines you normally do in the normal isometric design, but you can use this plugin to get the best and a very good results. So the next thing I'm going to do, having done that, I'm going to convert this frame to a component, and I'm going to make a duplicate, which is like an instance of a component, which is going to be at the right side of my screen. Then I'm going to run the plugin isometric, and I'm going to turn this one to any of the format depending on what you want to achieve. So in my case, I love to have this diagram so that I can pick the points actually once. Now don't forget that the second one is the instance of the component you created. So anything you do on the main component is going to reflect on the instance component, and that's where the beauty or the magic actually happens, because everything you draw literally is going to be on the instance component. So in my case, I'm going to use this particular video or this part of the video to do a little more like an illustration to see how you can use that to create something unique. Mind you, keep in mind that majority of things you would do or the ruler you need to draw, make sure that they are in the angle of 45 or minus 45 depending on the situation, and a very good way for you to do that is to hold down your shift key whenever you are drawing any of these lines, and you can even add more like a corner radius to any part of the whole thing. But the good thing is that anything you draw on the main component frame is going to reflect on the instance components. So you can use it to create a lot of things. I think a website like Raycast use that particular technique to have more of their illustration displayed on their website and a lot of other good things. And so you can give it a try and let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and quickly I will move over to the next one, which is perspective toolkit. So go over to your action and load in the particular plugin. Or before we even do that, I will need an image or images. So I'm going to use the Unsplash to generate, or better to insert one of my image from my computer, and I'm going to have it duplicated into two places. One is going to be at the left hand side and the other one is going to be at the right hand side. I'm going to use the Unsplash plugin to change the images. Then that is Unsplash to change the image, and I'm going to run the plugin called Perspective Toolkit. How it works is basically just changing the perspective, more like the orientation of the images, to make anything and anything where you apply them to be more beautifully looking. I'm going to do the left and also the right part of the image, and in this case you can just adjust all of this slider in a little bit, and you're going to click on place image, which is going to bring that image but in the format and in the view you actually created them. So the next thing you would do, having done that, is to make sure that you put the two images, one to be at the right hand side, and you can even choose to scale the image so that it can fit in to the one staying at the center. I'll repeat the same process to the one at the left hand side, and I'll make sure that I copy the value for the size from the Figma setting, and now I have it all together. So just to add a little bit of depth to this, I'm going to create a shadow manually, of course, and I'm going to hide this particular ellipse shape to be behind the main image that stays at the center. I'm going to make duplicates to the other one so we can have it looking just like the way it is. So in case you want to have any write-up or do anything, you can even add more things below that part of the frame. If at all that's what you intend to do, you can put everything together in a group. I can give it a name. In my case, I'm going to call it image gallery, and I can just drag in the text, which I'm going to scale up by using the scale tool just to make it more like a section of the website. And the next one I have here is called noise, and I think you probably heard about noise lately in maybe some of my recent videos. And here I'm going to walk you through a little demo of things you can do with noise. So I'm going to have this particular rectangle, and don't forget, you load your noise and texture, which give you the flexibility of give you everything you would definitely need to create a pattern, to create a texture, to create so many things. So all you need to do is just to adjust all of these settings and you are good to go. When you're done with all of the adjustments, you can even make some further adjustments while the light change reflect on the rectangular shape. Now, mind you, when you have done this, pay attention to the fill, because you can take out the background anyway if you want, and you can drag it into any environment you want. And I'm going to use as mask, which I actually talked about in one of Major AI videos. You can check them out anyway. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to apply a layer blur, and I'm going to increase the value so you can get to see how it works. It's just to create a kind of blurry or fading effect, and you get to select where you want the noise to be seen. And in my case, you can even go ahead to even change the color of that particular environment, which I'm going to do to reflect the beauty of what I intend to do. So you can use this noise and texture to create patterns like this, especially if you are bidding for AI. Then the light I designed from the first part of the video, I drag it in together with my little text. And the last on my list is called Loop Legacy. So maybe you've not heard the word before, but then I think it's one among the most fascinating plugins you can use to create more like an AI kind of stuff, especially if you are creating a similitude to Siri kind of AI. So in my case, I will need an ellipse shape. I just only need the outline. Then you can set all of this value, and in case you are not sure, you can just pause the video and select all the value I use in this particular part of the video. You can pause the video to have all of these things set. When you are done with all of the setting, you click on create. Okay, so we are good to go, and the next thing we are going to do is to group them, or better still, it's going to be grouped at default. So I'm going to bring it into an environment just like the way I have some other sections too as well. And in my case, I'm going to even do more things like creating an ellipse shape and using it as mask to even create more light effect around this particular shape we just created with loop legacy. So I'm going to use as mask, and I'm going to just change the color of the lights and moving it around within the particular shape to get different designs. And also I'll also apply the layer blur to just give it more filtering effects. When I'm done with all of those things, I'm going to do the last thing, which is to move my lights to that very environment, and you can get to see how beautiful it is. Now, this may not be perfect anyway, but then you can get to choose, decide the value you want, and spend more time to just practice so that you can know how to use this particular plugin so well. And I think this makes it the last part of the top 5 plugin that you will definitely need in your Figma account or as a designer. And I hope this video helps you. And I'm sorry for not actually showing my face. I'm trying to work on my camera, and I think maybe in the next few videos or in the next video, definitely if you see my face. So I'm doing more like a faceless for now, since I'm trying to find a more perfect fit for my camera options. So that'll be all. And if this is your first time seeing my video, I would like you to hit the subscribe button, like and comment, because I actually want to see what worked and what didn't work. Then also you can turn on the notification to get more video updates whenever I drop them. I'm my name David, and I'm glad to have you guys. So see you and peace out.